So in today's video, I wanted to talk about Katy Perry. Katy Perry is one of my favorite she is my favorite artist. I love pop, you know what I mean, and I love Katy Perry. I'm a huge fan of her music. She just created an album, 143, which I think is a brilliant album. I loved it, but she's gotten a lot of criticism for a lot of things. She's gotten a lot of criticism for everything. It seems like, like everything she does. Like even if she goes to space, she gets criticism for that. Working with a certain person that helped her out make the album, she gets criticism for literally everything that she does. I don't know what it is. I don't know where this hate has come from. But I want to go ahead and get into this. If you like this video, by the way, if you like Katy Perry, definitely give a like to the video and consider subscribing. I do have a lot of different videos and stuff like that on this channel. A lot of gaming stuff mostly, but I do a lot of reactions like this. I really enjoy that. Okay, so today's first criticism. So we're going to be looking at criticisms, and I'm definitely not going to be watching all these videos or the full videos, but I wanted to look at I wanted to get a gist of what some of these complaints are about Katy Perry's newest album and Katy Perry in general, because I'm curious and I just want to hear what's being said, because I'm listening to her music and it sounds great. It sounds just on par with all of her other music. In fact, I think 143 is actually the third best album that I've heard from her. I would put it above. I wouldn't put it above Prism. Prism's my all-time favorite. I wouldn't put it above Teenage Dream, but I don't know. I think it's on par with, you can put it with Smile, you can put it with Witness. I think it might be better than Witness or somewhere in between, but it's definitely not a flop. I don't know what these people are talking about, so I want to go ahead and get into the gist, see what's legitimate, see what's not. So let's go ahead and play.
Entire video in a single word, it would be scathing. Unfortunately, Katy Perry's album finally happened to us. We all knew it was coming, we all knew it was going to be bad, and as it turns out, it was. So while this is by no means a surprising story, I still think it's quite interesting, because this is hands down the most critically panned album I have ever seen in my life. I didn't think it was possible for music reviewers, critics, publications to almost unanimously hate one thing this much, but Katy Perry has truly brought us together in a way that is inspiring, or at least I've been quite inspired to listen to literally anything other than her album. But nevertheless, I figured we'd listen to it together while also looking at some of these horrifying reviews, and we can decide whether or not Katy Perry's album is actually that bad. Or you can decide. I've already heard it. It's not good. But first, welcome. My name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of quantum computer.
Okay. So basically, it's going to be a subjective thing, but here's the thing, if you're a fan of Katy Perry, you're going to like 143. If you're not a fan of Katy Perry in the first place, then you're not going to like anything that she puts out. So I think that's what it is. It's on par with the rest of her music. Like I said, I think it's her third best album, but I'm not really hearing anything all I'm hearing is a lot of subjectivity, so far, but I want to continue and hear what this guy has to say. But keep in mind, if he plays music, I'm not gonna, play the music just because of copyright reasons. I just want to hear what they have to say.
Long time. So despite Katy Perry and many of the choices she made for this album being highly questionable, I still gave it a fair shake. I listened to it on good speakers. I just devoted my full 33 minutes to it. I read all the lyrics for each song as they played, and not even that was really enough to save it. No. So the album is called 143 for some reason. The album title references the expression "I love you." So it's like the number of letters in each word. Wikipedia also says this is supposed to be a dance party album, while also highlighting how Katy Perry was widely criticized for working with an alleged
bam. And this is the bulk of he did say he was trying to be subjective and not count this against her, but he's totally counting this against her. Keisha's sexual assault allegations. She worked with someone that had, he assaulted someone. I'm not condoning sexual assault. I think that's wrong 100%. I'm 100% against violence against women. But so Katy Perry worked with this guy who apparently sexually assaulted Keisha, and or Kesha, I'm sorry. But anyway, to me, I try to be objective. I try to judge, because if you think about it, a lot of people voted for someone that has the same type of allegations. You know what I'm saying? There's someone that's running country right now that has allegations. You know, if you look at certain athletes, they all have like, there's a lot of athletes that are really good. They have allegations against them, but I don't see people criticizing them for that necessarily. Now, Deshaun, like a lot of these Katy Perry criticisms have to do with, you know, who she was working with, which I don't think that's fair. I think you should judge the music, you know, just judge the music by itself. Like if you look at R. Kelly, for example, R. Kelly had great music, right? But if you go back and like, let's say like you judge R. Kelly's music before you even knew about any of these allegations, you would say it's pretty damn good music. But because of all the allegations, I guarantee you, if you have anybody reviewing R. Kelly's music at this point with all the allegations, or even Puff Daddy's music after all of the allegations, they're not going to give it good reviews because it's going to be a subjective. You see where I'm going? Like it's going to be subjective. It's hard for people to be objective in certain situations. It's hard for people to enjoy music knowing that that person worked with someone that had sexual allegations, or if that artist directly had allegations like R. Kelly or Puff Daddy. It's going to be hard to give any of their future albums. God forbid they're able to make another album. It's going to be really hard for them to open up and for people to open up and give them a fair shake on the albums. He says he's giving her a fair shake. It's I don't see it, but let's continue.
Rapist to produce the album just because he gave her hits a few years ago. And she went running back to him because her previous 2 albums without him flopped. So that's a super messed up move to try to get back some of your prior success. And Wikipedia also says it received negative reviews from music critics who described the songwriting and production as outdated and creatively stagnant. But that's spoilers. Him flop.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there because I don't want, it looks like we're about to go into him listening to the songs, and I don't want any copyright or anything like that, but I just think like the words he's using are very strong. Like I don't think there's anything in her album to justify flop or horrible, or, you know, he's using very strong words. I'm sure this content creator is great. You know, I'm sure he has a lot of great opinions and great ideas, and I saw another one of his videos. I really like his perspectives on things, but I just, you know, in life you're not going to agree with everything, you know, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm not a kind of person that's just going to say negative things because you said negative things about someone I'm a fan of. At the end of the day, we're not all going to agree on everything, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. I have nothing more to say. Like, I 100% disagree with this guy's takes. I love her music. I absolutely love Katy Perry's music, but I love her in general. You know, I love her music, so I'm looking at it from a biased perspective. But he's also looking at it from a biased perspective. He clearly doesn't like her, and that's okay. Let's move on to the next person.
Despite the immense anticipation surrounding her comeback, supported by massive promotion, a show-stopping impressive VMAs performance, and the prestigious Vanguard Award, Katy Perry's 7th studio album, 143, fell short of the expected impact for an artist of her caliber. Today, we'll take an objective look at why the 143 album and era didn't resonate with pop music listeners and explore the key lessons that us artists and creators...
Okay. You're already wrong. I know a lot of people that are a fan of the music, but, you know, it seems like here's the problem that I have, like, in our culture. If a video, let's just chalk it up to anything. Like, if someone loses an election, they're terrible. You know, Kamala Harris lost an election. Oh man, she's bad. This is why she lost. This is why she lost. You don't know that. Sometimes it's just about familiarity. Sometimes it's just a popularity contest. If you look at someone like Taylor Swift, she's extremely popular. She produces a lot of music at the same time as well. Like, she produces a lot of music. Katy Perry, her popularity went down as far as, like, because, you know, like someone like Taylor Swift, she's constantly producing music. Katy Perry, you have to remember, she was on American Idol for, like, I don't know exactly how long, but, like, she was on American Idol for, I don't watch the show, but I watched, you know, clips of it because obviously she was on there, but I don't know how long she was on the show, but she was on the show for a good amount of time, and she didn't produce an album since. So popularity-wise, like, she missed out on a number of years of, like, you know, just being able to make music because she was doing the American Idol. Not saying that she could have not have made albums while she was on the show, but if you look at other artists, It's really just a popularity contest at the end of the day. I mean, if you look at, there's a lot of YouTube creators that have good videos and they don't get a lot of views. And people like to say, well, these are why your videos are trash. This is why you're not getting any views, because you're trash and blah, blah, blah. No, nonsense. If people made videos and they're not getting views, that means they're not getting views because how could their videos be trash if no one's watching their videos in the first place? And that's pretty much how I see Katy Perry. Just because a lot of people aren't listening to her albums doesn't mean it's not good, and that's just how it works. Like if it's people are strictly looking at the numbers, her album flopped because of the numbers. Look at the numbers, but it doesn't mean that the album is bad. It just means that the album didn't do as well, and that's it. Like it's as simple as that. And it's kind of like I was saying with the content creation. There's a lot of people that have all these videos, YouTube videos and stuff like that. They get a lot of views, or they don't get a lot of views, but it doesn't mean the video is not good. And that that's just how I see it. Is we're too quick to label things like, oh, this is why you lost, this is why you're not getting views, but no, it's not because it's bad. It's because it's a popularity contest, and people like Taylor Swift and people like other artists, they're great, they're amazing, but there's also a reason why they're getting a lot of views, is because they stay in the limelight, their popularity is growing, and Katy Perry has kind of been out of the game for a little while, but I see no decline in her music. But let's go ahead and continue.
Me, that's totally fine. These are just my personal thoughts. Now, onto the video. One of the most critical factors we can't overlook in Katy Perry's 143 era is her association and collaboration with Dr. Luke. By now, we all know why Dr. Luke is a controversial figure in the music industry. The first single from 143, Woman's World, revealed through the song credits that Katy was once again collaborating with Dr. Luke. Well,
are you serious? Come on. So what does the Dr. Luke thing have to do with the actual music? This is the problem that I have, is when I see a lot of these reviews. I haven't seen any of these reviews that I'm watching today, but this association with Dr. Luke, like that's where the review is. Like that's what we're not even talking about the music. She hasn't played a single song, nothing. We're all of a sudden talking about Dr. Luke, the producer. I just don't understand why we have such a problem with her working with someone that had sexual assault allegations when we have a president, or when we have like certain people that sports figures. You think sports figures are angels? Like there's a lot of guys that we're rooting for, like Tyreek Hill, for example. Look it up. There's a lot of people that are a fan of the Cheetah. Look it up. He does way worse. There's people that just do way worse stuff that we cheer on, we celebrate.
Any song produced by him as Katy's lead single would have sparked controversy. I feel as if us finding out through a song intended to be a women's empowerment anthem.
I get it. I'm sorry. Basically, we're gonna move to the next video. But basically, the problem I have is it's all about Dr. Luke. It's all about, like, we're not even getting into the album. Like when you start your review like that, when you're talking about like outside factors, stuff that has nothing to do with the music, I have a problem with that, because clearly you're showing that you're not objective in the first place. There's just too much subjectivity, so I got to stop it there. Let's move to the next one. Let's go ahead and hear what this guy, Film Cooper, let's go ahead and hear what this guy has to say.
Katy Perry is flopping? That's a headline that could be used for the last decade. Katy Perry is in the middle of another attempt at reviving her career, trying to make a comeback album, and it has been so disastrously bad, so embarrassing, so humiliating, to the point that where I kind of feel bad for her. But everything is going so wrong to the point that, like, I just have to talk about it. So on Twitter, I did a search from between May and July.
So let me start by saying this. There's like a popular trend going on where like a lot of people, if they have the same, because there's like a train, basically it's like a train of like Katy Perry hate, and it's just going on, and people tend to get like really good views if they like agree and they like comment on the same thing. I've noticed it's not just about her, but like just about other things in general, where they'll comment and like they'll follow like this trend, and that's how YouTube and that's how social media works. Is like there's an algorithm, like talk about the latest and greatest trend, agree with everybody, and you're going to get views as well. And as you can see, this guy clearly benefited. He said, "Oh, I have to talk about this." No, you got 1.5 million views on this. You don't have to talk about this. You wanted to talk about this so you can increase your viewership. But let's go ahead and continue. Why not?
of 2024, this is when Katy Perry was like announcing her comeback, and it was like kind of entering her era. She was trying to make an era happen. And if you look at the stuff that she's putting out there and that people are saying about what she's putting out there during this period, it's actually pretty positive. But before I get into all of her flopping, I just want to show a little bit of this, like showing what she was trying to do. This is her Instagram story she's posted with Saweetie.
Are you a real Katy cat or a fake Katy cat? I'm a real Katy cat. That's right!
You know, showing that she's collaborating with the new, currently relevant artists, unlike her. I'm not honestly like a Katy Perry hater. I'm not like on the stan culture stuff, but it's like she has a need on a clinical level to flop. But during the era where things were good, like she was doing fashion shows. Look at her, she's doing I don't know what this is, but it's something. And she'd shared a snippet, and this post had 19,000 likes. It would never happen on today's Twitter. After her amount of embarrassment, but at the beginning... Can't play too much more, but they said the new Katy Perry snippet, OMG, it's giving Teenage Dream. We are so back! Well, that ended up not being the case. But one last thing, this is the first thing that I saw from her, like, new era. And it's her showing up to this event with a dress that is so long, and all of the lyrics of her next song, Woman's World, are written on, like, the trail of it. Yeah, so it's like this. Yeah, oh, cool.
Okay, so notice so far nothing about the music. The previous videos were about like the Dr. Luke thing, and so far in this video we haven't gotten to any music. He played a little tidbit, but he stopped it because he didn't want to get copywritten. But so far nothing about the music. Everything's about how, you know, talking with a friend, are you a real Katy cat? All this other shenanigans on the side which still has nothing to do with the music, but let's go ahead and continue.
Cool. But then it goes on for so long. And a minute into it, like this guy comes and he just starts like dragging it in because there's too much. Like, look at
Again, nothing about the music. Let's continue.
that. I mean, first of all, it's a pretty funny bit. It's funny. But then that song came out. It's a woman's world. That one. And people noticed a couple things. First of all, it sucks. But second of all, and probably most importantly related to how embarrassing and a flop this comeback is, it's the song, and multiple songs on the album are produced by a guy named Dr. Luke. If you don't know that,
Did you hear that? Dr. Luke. Okay, first of all, let me say that Dr. Luke, here we go again. Dr. Luke. We're not even talking about the music. He said the song sucks because, and you know it's emotion. Think about this. Let me ask you this question. Do we use words like that, like suck? Do we normally use that to describe music? No, we don't. We usually use words like suck to describe emotion, like how you're feeling inside. Suck. There's nothing about the song Woman's World that incites that emotion inside of you to say it sucks, it's horrible. There's nothing about that incites that emotion. I've heard the song many times. If you listen to that song, it's okay. Like I said, I ranked it 10th out of 11 as far as like the songs on the album. I think if you listen to the rest of her album, most of the songs on the album is better. But I don't think it sucks. I think it's a good song. But like I would have it ranked 10th out of 11. You know, in according to the rest of the song. I think the rest of the album is amazing. I think that song is not bad. It's a good song, but just in comparison to the rest of the album, I would have it 10th out of 11. But think about like the words he's using. Suck. Like that's like an interjection type. You know, like suck. There's emotion to it, and the emotion is tied to not the music, but it's tied to Dr. Luke. That's what this is all about. That's the common theme that I'm seeing. Dr. Luke, who. Anyway, let's continue.
Dr. Luke, I'm going to give you a quick little refresher.
He produced Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson. Also, I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. Hot and Cold Katy Perry. TikTok, and a lot of other songs by Kesha.
Kesha is a very important person that we're going to talk about in a second.
Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. Girls by Pitbull. He produced for Weezer, for fucking iCarly, Lil Jon, Akon.
Bro who dry humped a 14-year-old on stage. Victoria Justice, Flo Rida, Britney Spears, One Direction. There are so many. I mean, fucking Doja Cat.
The Kid Laroi, Juice WRLD, Young Thug, Tay Money. Fucking.
So we're getting into music. We're getting into music like other songs that Dr. Luke produced, which were also, you know, pretty big hits. But at the same time, nothing about 143 except for this one song. Like so far, we're not even getting into 143. So far, like we're, well, I guess 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I guess there's plenty of time. We're not going to watch this whole thing, but still nothing about 143 except for this one song. But let's go ahead and continue.
Saweetie, Coi Leray, Kim Petras, Tyga, fucking Flo Milli, Lil Durk, Morgan Wallen, J. Cole, Paris Hilton.
This guy is like a very, very successful producer who has produced for some of the biggest names in the music industry. In addition to that, Kesha, you know, the artist that he produced,
Okay, and let me clarify that. So Dr. Luke, I like what he just said there. Remember, this is my first time hearing all this, so I'm reacting. But interesting what he said there. Like, Dr. Luke produced a lot of successful songs. This was all before all of the allegations, right? So before all of the allegations, the songs were great. After all of the allegations, every song that's produced with Dr. Luke is terrible now. Every single that's just how it works. You notice that, right? It's like if you like I said earlier with Puff Daddy, right? All of his songs were amazing before. Now any song that he produces, God forbid if he's able to produce another song, is going to be terrible because of the allegations. Same thing with R. Kelly. R. Kelly was a wildly successful artist. Can we agree on that? After the allegations, all of a sudden he's terrible. He's going to be a horrible artist, and it has nothing to do with the music. But he's a horrible artist because they're saying he's a horrible person. Katy Perry worked with Dr. Luke. She has nothing to do with. She doesn't even have anything to do with any of these sexual allegations. So it's mind blowing to me. But let's go ahead and continue.
Songs for took him to court for drugging and her, allegedly. Was that recent? Because a lot of these artists were working with him very recently. No, this story has had traction and everybody's known about it for a while. I'm gonna read a little bit from the court case from.
No thanks. Let's move to the next song. So this is, like I said, I'm willing to listen to criticism, but you gotta talk about the actual songs.
Katy Perry's once.
Most to another perspective, but I'm willing to listen to criticism, but like you got to talk about the music. It's like talking about Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson, and then now we're talking about the kids, the kids' allegations, which I think is complete BS. But and then we're talking about the kids, and the next thing you know, This Is It tour is trash because look what he's doing with these kids and blah blah blah. The fact that it's an allegation. Let's talk about the music. Any different perspective relating to the music I'm willing to listen to, and I'm willing to hear legit criticism. I haven't heard anything so far, but let's continue.
Let's break down these issues with Katy Perry's new era and explore potential ways she can address these issues and retake her place as a main pop girly. If you love pop culture, you've come to the right place. The choice of Woman's World as the lead single could be problematic if it feels out of sync with current pop trends.
Okay, I don't disagree with that because, like I said, Woman's World, to me, I don't think it's a bad song, like I said, but I have it ranked 10th out of the 11th songs. That's not a song that I would have led with, but to me, I feel like I always feel that way with a lot of different artists. Like I could get into Paramore songs, like This Is Why. They had an album called This Is Why. This Is Why is like the 6th best song on the album in my opinion, but they led with This Is Why. They called it, the album is called This Is Why, and they have a song in the album called This Is Why, and I'd rank it 6th or 7th. I mean, that's just how it is. Like I don't know. Like some artists, they don't necessarily choose the song that I would choose, but it's not up to me.
While the song is cheesy and repetitive nature reminds fans of Katy Perry's past empowerment anthems, today's listeners often gravitate towards tracks that are a bit nuanced and fun, without heavy-handed messaging. Katy Perry will always be known for her hits like Firework and Roar, and that's great, but the challenge is finding a way to evolve and stay current while appealing to her fan base. And that's the challenge that Katy Perry has.
What is it that's so much fun about making pop music?
Guys. Look at the words on the screen. Dr. Luke controversy. This is what it's all about. This is what all of these reviews are about. Dr. Luke controversy. I don't care what anyone says. There's a rubric that these guys are grading this album on, and the Dr. Luke controversy is like 50% of the rubric. Like she's not gonna any album anybody produces with Dr. Luke is just gonna be it's just gonna be terrible. It's just gonna be a flop.
You mentioned that the songs were all happy and they're about feeling good and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, in my stage of my life right now, I want to feel that way.
Katy's decision to continue working with Dr. Luke, despite past legal controversies, might affect public perception.
All right, so we're not talking about the music. Like, we're talking about, man, I can't keep doing this. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't keep listening to these reviews if they're not going to be about the actual music. Like, to me, it's like if let's just say, like, with even Michael Vick, for example. Michael Vick, right, the football player, NFL quarterback. Now, he maybe he's a bad example because he wasn't, like, the best quarterback, but, like, after the dogfighting thing, people were just like, oh, this guy's terrible. Remember, Katy Perry she didn't commit any crimes. She's not related to any of this, but she worked with someone that did, sexual assault, and somehow that counts against her in the album. I promise you, like, the lack of, like, numbers and the lack of success for this album, like, as far as, like, it not being bigger, it's just related to popularity. Like, it's related to not being in the limelight for the last 10 years or however long because I think her last album was, like, 2020. I think it was Smile. So to stay current, I don't think it's related to these lyrics. I mean, I listen to music all the time. Like it's on par with all of the other music that I hear. So I think as far as staying current, to stay current, you just have to stay current. You just have to produce albums. Produce an album every 2 years. That's how you stay current. It's not about the lyrics. It's not about anything like that. If you want to stay current, you just got to keep producing albums. Look at Taylor Swift. That's what she's doing. The only difference between the music from Taylor Swift and the music from Katy Perry, Taylor Swift is current. Like, she's producing albums like it seems like 3 albums every month or something like that. Like, it seems like she's just producing a lot of music and going on this Eras tour and making a lot of music. Like, Beyonce had 2 different concerts in Atlanta. She had one concert. Like, what I'm saying? Like, you got to stay current. To stay current, you just have to stay current. There's only one way to stay current, and it's to continue producing music. And Katy Perry's been out of the game for I don't know, at least 5 years. Like, the whole time that she's been on the American Idol show. That's just the way I see it. But anyway, I've seen enough of these reviews. I tried to give it a chance. It's just like every one of these reviews are about every single one of these reviews are simply about Dr. Luke and worst album is horrible because, and then you get into the nooks and crannies of why it's bad, and it's because of Dr. Luke. That's what it's. I mean, I just gets old at some point, but yeah, I think I'm done. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. If you like it, if you think it sucks, let me know. Whatever. But don't come at me with Dr. Luke, and make sure you're 100% objective. If you heard this music, if you heard this music that we're listening to right now, and you didn't know anything about Dr. Luke, you didn't know anything about the background, would you still like it? I know that's a lot to ask, but try to be objective and let me know in the comments below what you think. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.